Tracy gave me David Leaf's 1978 Brian biography, The Beach Boys and the California Myth. It was way over my head, but I held on to it and revisited it frequently over the years. To me and most of the world, the Beach Boys sang about surfing, cars, and the girls on the beach. But Leaf discussed at length their introspective and acclaimed Pet Sounds album, and even more fascinating were the chapters about its aborted follow-up, Smile. My fanaticism was further fueled. And over the years, it remained solid. I grabbed every band-related record, magazine article, book, and video I could find. But I do recall that when I was in Cégep, the Quebec equivalent of junior college in the U.S., I kept my fondness for the group under wraps. It just seemed so uncool to like them. One day, I brought some Beach Boys records to school for a friend who had asked to borrow them, and I freaked out when he pulled them out of the opaque bag I'd put them in. I didn't want anybody to see. But that self-consciousness quickly passed, and with a Brian Wilson comeback in 1988, another one, this time as a solo artist, and the later rediscovery of the group's back catalog on CD, many others got hip to the Beach Boys. I always had wanted to write a book about the group, and after a decade as an entertainment journalist in Toronto, I finally decided to do it. Aptly enough, the idea came to me on the beach. Mind you, not in Del Mar or Manhattan Beach or any of the legendary locations name-checked in Surfin' USA, but on the significantly chillier shores of Lake Huron. The band's forthcoming 50th anniversary provided a perfect opportunity for reflection, and I figured what better way to mark the occasion than have 50 people discuss a Beach Boys song that's somehow meaningful to them. In this book, band members, except, sadly, Brian's younger brothers Dennis and Carl, both long gone, and key collaborators provide eyewitness accounts of the band's evolution and the creation of its most memorable records. The Beach Boys' contemporaries recall the music's initial impact, while modern-day artists explain its continuing influence. Finally, fellow authors reveal how a song inspired them to explore the Beach Boys saga. I conducted the interviews from September 25, 2009 to July 18, 2011. They were done expressly for this book, except for my Brian interview, which was for an August 25, 2010 feature in Canadian newsweekly Maclean's. Most of the interviews were conducted over the phone, while Peter Bagg, Scott McCaughey, and Cameron Crowe communicated via email. I spoke in person with Darian Sahanaja prior to a Brian show at Milwaukee's Pabst Theatre on October 24, 2009, where I was introduced to Brian. The number of people who have played a role in the Beach Boys story, plus the musicians and writers they have touched, quickly runs into the hundreds, so, inevitably, only a fraction are included. That is not to diminish the significance of those who are not. There are some missing voices that should be noted. Not accounted for is official member Ricky Fattar, who drummed, composed, and produced for the band from 1972 to 1974, but who did not respond to multiple interview requests. Brian's first wife, Marilyn Wilson Rutherford, singer in Brian-produced girl groups The Honeys and Spring, and Van Dyke Parks, Brian's Smile collaborator, replied in the sweetest way possible that they are largely stepping away from Beach Boys Q&As. Each of those who did participate brings his or her unique point of view, the aim being to provide a broad and balanced perspective on the band. Using a light hand, I tried to guide which songs each would discuss, in an effort to include the most praised, popular, and representative cuts of the group's career. Sometimes, the match of song to interviewee is obvious, as he or she was directly involved in its creation, or, as an outside artist, has covered the tune. Whatever the case, I wanted each interviewee to choose a track based on a strong connection. As a result, there are a disproportionately high number of selections from Pet Sounds, the Smile era, and even Surf's Up, yet nothing from the worthy Carl and the Passions' So Tough. I have included one cut from Dennis's Pacific Ocean Blue solo album, which garnered ecstatic reviews in 1977 and when re-released in 2008, and 5 from Brian's solo career, which is where the story goes in terms of significant studio work from 1988 to 2012, with the Beach Boys' anniversary reunion album pending. And while 50 may sound like a lot of songs,
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.